Hi, everyone. My name is Paula, and thank you so much to Professor Zaki for inviting me to speak to you. So today I'll be giving you some insights from my time as a CS major at NYU Abu Dhabi, and also talking about what I've been up to since. So I'm originally from Bucharest, Romania, and I didn't start coding when I was 5, but I did start taking computer science classes in high school, since that's really a really big part of the Romanian high school curriculum. And in terms of my time at NYU Abu Dhabi, so I came into NYU AD knowing that I wanted to major in computer science, and that's what I ended up doing. And along the way, I also got to take some interactive media courses, which I found really fun. And the photo you see here was taken during a recording session for the capstone project that I worked on, which was basically a chatbot that you could use to communicate with others in Arabic and English. And we used video recordings in order to create these virtual bots. And this is something that I worked on with Professor Nizar Habash and 5 other NYUAD students, and I thought it was a really great capstone project. And I think some students are still currently working on it. I was also involved in the boards of several student groups. The more tech-focused ones were WeSTEM, or Women Empowered in STEM, and also HackAD. And in this photo here, you can see me on the left, and this is Beatrice, and this is Dora, and they were the founders of WeSTEM, and they're currently my co-founders, and I'll be speaking a bit more about that later. I also got to participate in several hackathons and Women in Tech conferences. So here on the left, you can see a photo taken, I think this was in Florida, at the Grace Hopper Celebration, which is a conference for women in tech, I think is the biggest one in the world. And then on the right, you can see a photo I took while I was participating at VHacks, which was the world's first and I think only hackathon at the Vatican, which was really fun as well. And so throughout these opportunities, I got to meet a lot of cool people and get introduced to a lot of awesome opportunities. And I also got to go to some other hackathons, for example, the one in Abu Dhabi, the Hackathon for Social Good, which I definitely recommend applying for. And then I also got to, during the summers, intern at 3 of Google's locations. So I interned in Munich, in London, and in New York, and I got to work with different teams on different platforms. And this really gave me a taste of what working in the industry looks like, which is a bit different from, being a student. But there still are some things that I wish I'd done more of. And I'm just going to list them out here because since you're in an intro class, I'm assuming you still have some time to get things done throughout the remainder of your time at NYU Abu Dhabi. And this is just some advice from my end. So I wish I'd worked on some more personal projects or projects together with other NYU Abu Dhabi students. So you're surrounded by a lot of smart and really capable people, and I think you should make the most of that. So I got to do some of that through the hackathons I was in, but I definitely wish I'd spent some more time doing this. And this is also really helpful when you're applying to opportunities later on, like having a portfolio of projects really, really helps. I also wish I'd taken some more advanced mathematics classes. So I took calculus, which was the requirement for computer science, but more advanced classes like multivariable calculus and linear algebra are often a requirement if you want to pursue graduate studies later on. So if that's something you're thinking you might want to do, I definitely recommend, maybe minoring in mathematics. I also wish I'd taken some more interactive media classes. So I took a couple, but I think these are super helpful because you get to apply the knowledge you've learned in more practical ways, like by building websites and applications. And if you're going to take a more traditional software engineering route after graduating, this will come really in handy. And then I wish I'd taken more advantage of office hours. So I did struggle quite a bit during some of my classes, and I definitely wasn't a straight A student. But the professors were there, the TAs were there, they were super helpful, and I should have taken the opportunity to speak to them more. As for things I've done after graduating, so I spent a year working as a software engineer at Goldman Sachs Hong Kong office. And I found this to be a great experience in terms of exploring a new industry, which was at the intersection of finance and tech. But while I was working there, I also got to help out part-time with iOS development for a startup called Imagi Labs, which was created by the alums I mentioned earlier, Dora and Beatrice. And then I ended up joining Imagilabs as a founder. So I quit my job in Hong Kong and moved here to Stockholm, where I'm calling from, in August of 2019. And I want to speak a bit more about Imagilabs, since I think the mission that we have is super important and it's closely tied to what WeSTEM is doing. So we are working on equipping and empowering girls to shape the future with tech because we believe that if technology is the future and women aren't equally involved in tech, then women won't have an equal chance at shaping the future. And so, why exactly are we focusing on teenage girls? So that's because we believe that today's tech talent pipeline leaves out teen girls. So studies have found that at age 11, 86% of girls express interest in technology, but then the gap widens during their teen years, and by age 16, only 36% of girls are still interested. And that leads to only 17% of university students and professionals in tech being female. And some of you are probably watching this right now. So what we did is we created what we call the Tamagotchi, the Snapchat generation, but it's called the Imagi Charm. So this, you can see it over here. So it's a programmable accessory, and we really focused on making the experience of using it social, fun and creative, mobile first, and linking it to girls' hobbies. And the way that we do this is we have a mobile app, the Imagilabs app, through which you learn how to code in Python with the goal of creating these 8x8 projects that you can see over here that you can then upload over to your Imagicharm. And you can wear this as an accessory, but you can also share what you've learned and created with others in the Imagilabs community. And in terms of my time so far at Magilabs, so specifically my role is lead developer, and I'm responsible for all of our software, including an iOS app, an Android app, a web app, as well as our backend stack. And we've also had some awesome NYU Abu Dhabi interns helping out with these along the way. And to sum it up, it's been a lot of learning and a lot of doing things for the first time. And there's lots of highs and lots of lows, but overall, it's been very fulfilling. Um, And yeah, I just have to say that it's been tough because this was one of my first professional experiences, and yeah, a lot of the things that I did I hadn't done before and had to just kind of learn as I was building them. But I think that's probably one of the best ways to, to learn and get better at things. So I have a little bit of advice, and again, I'm pretty early on in my career, so I don't know if this is the best advice, but from my experience so far, I think some important things I have come away with is that you shouldn't be afraid to make mistakes, and you definitely shouldn't give up when you do. So especially in this field, making mistakes is normal and expected, and that's just how you're going to learn and get better. And then in terms of getting better, so I used to pride myself in being a perfectionist and getting everything done perfectly, but I've since found that perfect is the enemy of good. I think this is something Melinda Gates said once. So basically, if you're going to strive for everything to be perfect, you're going to spend way too much time on it, and it might be unnecessary in the end. And I think just getting things done and getting things out there is really, really important. And then this is something that I think especially applies to women is you should apply to opportunities, even if they seem completely out of reach. So actually, with my first Google internship, I hadn't even applied to Google because I did not in my wildest dreams think that I would be accepted to work or intern there. So actually, a recruiter reached out to me and asked if I wanted to apply. Otherwise, this would have never happened. So definitely don't be scared to apply to things. And in terms of things that I'm happy to help you with, so we have internships at Imagilabs, and we normally hire dev interns throughout the summer. And we put these job postings up on CareerNet, and I'm happy, or Handshake, I think it's called now, and I'm happy to answer any questions around the internships. I'm also happy to help out with referrals for internships at other companies because I have a small network of friends that I've made throughout my time interning in tech and working in tech who are employees of bigger tech companies, and they could definitely help. And I'm also happy chatting and providing some advice. You can reach out on LinkedIn or Facebook. Oh, and I'm also happy to do mock interviews in case you want some prep help for anything you might be applying to. And that is pretty much it from my end. Sorry, I went a bit over the 5-minute limit. But yeah, I'm really glad that I got to talk to you today, even though it was just me talking. But yeah, I would be happy to actually have a conversation with you if you'd like to. So just don't be afraid to reach out. And good luck with your Intro to CS class.